and welcome back to another 4,000 Holes podcast episode. This time it's a Kidder Street Noise show, and it's been a while since our last show.
It's been ages. It feels like.
Been busy.
I was looking earlier. It was 2 months ago that we last released an episode. I think it was just after like the Remembrance fixture. I can't remember who we played. Was it Cardiff? I think it might have been after the Cardiff game.
Cardiff game, yeah.
Won 3-1, I think. So it's been a while, but 2025, Happy New Year to even though it feels a bit.
It feels late.
Yeah, it feels a bit late, but
we've both been really busy, like travelling up and down the country with work, and you've obviously had a month on the darts.
On the Worlds
World Cup of Darts.
World Darts Championship. No, it was really good. It went really well. Brilliant tournament, and an incredible final, a history-making final. You know, the youngest ever winner, Luke Littler. You know, it feels like it's been coming for a while. I think it was obviously like the favourite going into it, and yeah, it was. I don't know whether it was quite as good as last year. I think it was in moments.
Who, Littler?
Yeah, but maybe that's a case of everyone coming to expect what.
Yeah, everyone expects it to still improve, but he's just maintained that high standard he had last year, and obviously, actually, not necessarily tournament final. I thought he was unlucky last year, but this year he's absolutely walked the final day.
Yeah, he just ran away with it. That's a problem with it. He just takes the game away from players.
Yeah, but most of his legs are like 12 dart legs, and if you don't get that first finish, you bust the leg basically.
Yeah,
that must be like so much pressure for the opposite player, like thinking, if I don't get my first finish here, my first 4 throws, I'm knackered.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do a 3-parter tonight. Obviously, we've got loads to talk about. I've had these notes for ages because we've had like plans to record, but it's just with like how busy we've been, it's just not been an option. So I've got part 1. I want to talk about John Eustace. So we'll discuss all the points about Eustace. I mean, I was just looking at the table that I've got on my notes. So that's after 19 games. We were 5th. And what we've played now, 26?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Still 5th. So yeah, talk about John Eustace first. Part 2, we're going to talk about the fans forum and some of the key points that I picked out, and we'll discuss those. Obviously, things have happened since then, so we'll also discuss that. And then part 3, we want to talk about January. Now, when this episode gets released, it'll probably like towards the end of January. And some of these questions, some of these points I made might not necessarily be valid by the time I go out. Hopefully, we might have acted and actually done something to the squad. So, like me saying that we're weak in these areas, it might not be the case when this episode comes out. So, part 1, John Eustace. Now, obviously, I was very vocal against John Eustace towards the end of last season. I don't think it was more along the lines of we need to stick together and that. It wasn't really. I think he came in at a time where there was quite a lot of veracity against like the board and the owners, and he came in and tried to sell that down, which obviously as a manager you probably should do.
But it felt like at the time that was his main purpose, didn't it? It felt like that was his biggest asset to those who were employing him. You know, that was what it was, and that's. I think the fans saw. I say most of the fan base saw that as well. But obviously, we've come to see now that he is much more than that, and he has actually done a superb job, I think, so far this season.
Yeah, he has done a superb, and that's what I wanted to talk about, because obviously he got a lot of criticism last year when things weren't going well. He deserves all the plaudits that he's getting this season for the job that he has done. And I don't know what the key to it is, because I don't really see like a tactical philosophy we've got. Obviously, there's that patient build up, and he wants to create that space in behind, which we saw worked superbly against Portsmouth in midweek. Passing around the back 4, waiting for them to step up and then playing it in behind. which can be frustrating at times for some fans, especially when we've got a 6'5" striker that we're not kicking it up to. But yeah, I think there isn't like a philosophy that I think, oh, that's really great. We can see like some of the managers in the top end of the Championship, the Premier League, where they can identify the style of play. Yeah, so I feel like he's just given players confidence. I've not yet seen, and this people might see this as a criticism of Eustace, but I don't really think it is. When JDT came in and even Mowbray like had like certain players that were his kind of favourites, I could see like improvements in certain players. Like under JDT, like Joran Costello got improved a lot from like a fringe player to a key player for us.
And it felt like he made a role his own in that kind of like right wing back,
inverted fullback.
It worked quite nicely. But I don't know, we might get on to players in his sort of position in the squad later on, but it feels like he hasn't really got a place at the minute.
Yeah. But yeah, so like JDT had Joran Costello. I'd say like Buckley played his best football under Mowbray probably. I mean the amount of players that went on, I know like probably like expired contracts like Lenihan and stuff that went off to play for other teams in the Championship. I'd say Mowbray improved, but Eustace I can't really like point out a single player. Probably Pers. But like technically, has he improved him? So like the point I'm trying to make is that he's done really well at giving a lot of players confidence.
Yeah, I feel like Pers there's a bit more confidence than there was in him maybe towards the end of last season. I think if you ask most Rovers fans if they'd want someone else to come in, they'd probably still want that.
Yeah.
He hasn't definitely been much better this season though, and
yeah, I mean,
I feel more confident in him at this moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, last season his stats was up there, one of the worst in the Championship. This season with stats, I know that people hate stats and all the mathematics and stuff, but I think he's like in the top 5 in the Championship. I think might actually be second. I know that Johansson at Stoke's number 1 by a long way. But yeah, Pers has been superb this season, and again, I don't think it's like he's improved him as a player. He's just like giving players confidence and just showing them like some love. And I think that's happened with Dominic Hyam as well. Like obviously taking the armband off him, and just putting an experienced partner with Danny Bath, and just giving them the confidence to say that when you do make a mistake, it's not the end of the world, and it's all about how you recover from it. And we've seen the benefits of that this season. We've got more points now. I mean, this was after the game 19. We have more points then than when he took over last season, which was at a similar point. The team spirit is built is phenomenal. You can see that on the pitch, and obviously the content that comes out from the club off the pitch as well. Slightly worried that it's still not his team. There was only 4 summer signings on the pitch on Saturday against Oxford. Danny Bath, Owen Beck, who's obviously on loan, Cantwell,
and Byron. Yeah.
Well,
so we've got 5 there.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how much like a print he gets, like that sort of like the transfer side of things. I think if you look at his like summer transfer business for when he was at Birmingham, then he spent a lot of money, but players like Dion Sanderson, who's obviously now come to us on loan, like young players for the future. I don't feel like the other signings that we've had, like Forshaw and even like Wyman and Danny Bath, I don't necessarily think they're his signings. I know we needed experience, but it feels very short term in the minute, and I think Eustace probably doesn't want that. I think he's looking towards like the next 3 or 4 years to see what would improve us.
Yeah, it feels like signings for a bit of short-term depth. Just temporary fixes so that we have bodies for if people get injured, which is all right, but it's not great when you find yourself in a position that we're in where we need actual quality to try and bolster what we're doing and what we're going for, because whether we expected it or not, we're now in a playoff race.
Yeah, and we've discussed quite a lot about how not weak the championship is, but the top four are obviously flying. Leeds obviously winning again today, but from 5th to 8th, there's probably like another 4 that we're in that like could get the 5th and 6th spot on the rest. I think anyone is really bothered about
the league feels really poor this season, I think. Probably the worst I can remember. I know when we came 7th under JDT, that was, I know a lot of people said then that was a weak championship. I think this is even weaker, to be honest. This season, that season, like the 2 seasons that stand out, like during the whole time, like since we got relegated from the Premier League, that I think we've got a real chance here, because no one outside the top 4 is that good, I don't think.
Well, I think because Luton are having such a bad season, it's almost like took one of the relegated, like the powerhouses of the league away.
Yeah.
And like you said, like the JDT 7th and I think the Mowbray 8th, where we could have got in the playoffs, I feel like it was always like pushing for one place. Like it was only ever 6th place that was available.
Mm.
And I feel like 6th place, it's very unusual that 6th place finisher wins the playoffs, because they have to go against the 3rd best team who have usually been battling for promotion for months. 5th place gives you a better chance, because obviously you played a team that finished 4th. But yeah,
but it depends on like the dynamic they're at, the dynamic of the city, because like if those 4 stay that tight all the way to the end of the season, it might not happen. It might turn out that it does happen. But if those 4 stay that close all the way, and then 2 obviously get promoted automatically, then that's going to change the dynamic of the playoffs as well, because the 2 that fall in, usually it sometimes happens where the one that falls into 3rd, it has a negative effect on it. But if it's 2, then that'll change how the playoffs pans out. Maybe.
Yeah. Because of like so much expectations of them 2 being in the final, and like that story of them competing for promotion most of the season, actually being the playoff final. So yeah, final point on John Eustace was that he needs backing in January. We're now on the 18th, 19th. He's not really been back yet. We've got Dion Sanderson on loan, which again, if we'd have signed him on a permanent, if we knew like his time was up at Birmingham, he's not happy, we'll get him on the cheap, like, and it were a permanent signing, I'd be happy with it. But I've always said your loan signings need to be better than what you've got, and at the minute he isn't. So it's just a waste of a loan signing. And even if like it was a loan with an option to buy in the summer, I'd probably be more happy with it, because at least you're getting something for it. But in 6 months' time, it's going to be gone. We're going to have to refill that position anyway.
Yeah. I know we always say, I feel like we've said it loads of times on the podcast, that the loan signings do need to be of a higher quality so that they actually improve you. And obviously to do that, you're looking towards the Premier League, but I don't think wages are a big problem for Rovers, because even like young players in the Premier League now are on high wages. I mean, the highest earner at Rovers probably it's probably Cantwell, he's probably on 20 grand a week. So, we've been linked with Dans, and no doubt we'll probably link with a few more like youngsters in the Premier League before now and the end of the window. Do you not think wages are a big problem?
Yeah, it will come into effect, but I think that's why in the past we've probably done the guaranteed to play kind of deals for Morton, Moran, that sort of thing. The thing is,
and we've moaned at that as well.
So. Yeah, we have moaned at that, but I feel like if you're getting the right quality in and they are making an impact, you can afford to do that. But what we've done in the past is loan players in, like, I mean, Owen Beck, like, he's been like criticised and praised by us in the past and stuff, but I'd say realistically he's on a par with Pickering. Like, they're both good left backs having the Championship.
Yeah, you feel confident in both.
Yeah,
which is a great place to be.
I know Pickering's injured, so he's had to come in. But we didn't need to improve left back, but we needed to improve left wing, right wing, and up front. So why are we loaning Owen Beck? And it's not like I'm unhappy with Owen Beck. I'd love him to come on loan next season or sign permanently in the summer. But
very wishful thinking. Even if you get promoted, Liverpool are going to keep holding him, aren't they?
Yeah, but the I can't remember what I'm going to say now. So I was looking at other teams' loan signings, and I know you can't really compare with the top four, but Leeds have got Manor Solomon from Spurs, who's more or less winning in the league. He's playing every week, so many goals. Got another goal today, loads of assists. Joe Rothwell, they've got on loan from Bournemouth. I mean, he's not really goals and assists because he's playing in a deeper role, but played every minute of every game, more or less. Took off last 15 minutes or whatever. They massively improved that position. And I know you can't compete with Leeds, like Burnley. Obviously Fleming they've loaned. Sunderland have got Isidore that they've loaned with a fee. I know he missed 2 pennies the other night, but he has scored some crucial goals this season, and that's the reason they're up there. Middlesbrough, Ben Doak created the most chances in the Championship, got the highest expected assist. If they had a better number 9, I know Laughed done well, but he's created the most chances. If you have a clinical striker, you're going to score more goals. I mean, our loan signings, Beck's been good. Cozy Dewberry's not really impacted the season whatsoever. Who else have we loaned? Obviously John Sanderson now.
Yeah.
Who, unless a change of formation comes in, is going to impact the rest of the season. Unless one of Hyman back gets injured, I can't see it. And with Carter coming back next month, I see even less.
Yeah, I've got nothing against him because, obviously, he made probably the perfect start for a centre back the other night against Ports. You got stuck in, and the fans got behind that straight away. But again, it feels like he's dead.
Yeah. Which is, it is what we need, but we need both. That's the problem.
Yeah. We need 2 in 1.
I did look at Preston's because I feel like Preston's always the one that we can compare to. Similar budget, similar size of attendances and whatnot. You can't really say they should be spending more than us. So they've got is it Kaiser Hayden from Aston Villa, and they've got the guy who got sent off against us.
Or
is it Woodman?
For the challenge on Baker.
Yeah.
I was going to say it was a match, and that was a bad one.
Yeah, he didn't get sent off for that.
No, should have.
So they had the Castleheda from Villa has played more or less every game, or 20 games. Oh, they got Josh Bowler as well from Forest, but he's been kind of injured. I think he's only played 8 or 9 games, so hasn't had much of an impact. The other guy from Leeds, Sam Greenwood.
Right,
so he's played more or less every minute, apart from the time he was suspended after Rovers. Scored 7 goals, 5 assists. That's the impact you need to have from loan signings. You can't have them playing a third of the season, no goals, no assists, and not really doing much else. So yeah, I feel like he needs back, but I feel like he needs this short-term vision of getting players in for depth now for this season. What happens in the summer? Because we've got quite a few players out of contract. We're struggling to get bodies in January. We're going to have to sign 13 players in the summer.
Yeah.
I just can't. And even if we do make 13 good signings, how often do you see a team have a massive overhaul of the squad and be successful next season?
Yeah. I hope Eustace is having as big an involvement as possible in it as well. I hope it's not just, I don't know, obviously he's worked with Sanderson before. He's been linked with a few other, we've been linked with a few other players he's worked with before. I hope it's not just behind the scenes getting bodies in for the sake of depth.
I think John Sanderson said in an interview that he texted him saying, what's going on, why not playing? The next minute, we were on the phone to his agent and they were coming in. I don't want it to be Eustace texting people,
yeah,
what's happening, you're still kicking a ball. And turn up at Rockall 20 minutes later. But yeah, it's one of them with Eustace, use him or lose him. If you want, if you don't back him you'll be looking for another manager, and then the next manager will come in and he'll want to improve the squad. And if you don't back him, he'll want to leave. We're stuck in that vicious doom loop cycle at the minute, or that's what it feels like.
Mm.
But yeah, that's anything to add on John Eustace for it and part one.
I don't think so. I think he's done a really good job, like we've already said. Hopefully he keeps it up. But I feel like if he is going to, we're going to need to make 3 or 4 quality signings between now and the end of the month, and whether that'll happen, I'm not that confident.
You can't be confident.
No,
like
you can't.
Yeah,
you've got to. Well, data. I'd go off experience as well, and the last 2 Januaries have been an embarrassment. There's no getting away from that.
I think Josh Boswell put a thread on Twitter showing like all the previous transfer windows, and the one where he signed Sora Thomas on loan and no one else. That's criminal.
And then finished 7th on goal difference. After failing to sign O'Brien.
That's crazy. So yeah, that's the end of part 1. Come back to join us in part 2 and discuss the previous fans forum. Right after these messages. Okay, welcome back to the King Street Noise Show on the 4,000 Holes podcast, and we're going to discuss the fans forum, which was done at the end of November. Made notes to talk about it previously, but obviously not on time. But we're still going to go over the key points of it. So one of the questions was asked about who we were looking for in terms of players, like our scout, obviously like chief scout.
I remember this now, yeah.
And one of the points was that Rudy Gestede said, "We are looking wherever the right players are, less likely to be anyone in Eastern Europe or further afield." Now, if you're looking wherever the right players are, why would any area be less likely than another?
Mm.
And I know like he's posted on LinkedIn that he's looking for scouts for his data-driven approach to scouting. You can scout any league in the world now and get as much statistical analysis as you want. So why would any area in the world be less likely?
I mean, it was a vague comment anyway, and then I think there was an actual typo in the fans forum minutes.
You are joking me. A typo. You are joking me.
There was a typo in the minute, and it was kind of like said twice. The same thing was said because they'd probably edited it one way and then changed it and forgot to actually make it make sense. So
not proofread.
So that made it even more vague. It sounds like what I was just like, what is Gestede actually trying to say here? And to me, it was a bit of a throwaway comment. So we didn't have to actually deal with January.
Well, yeah, there's no
in that instant, on that occasion.
They're very clever at not.
Bit of a politician's answer.
Yeah, it is very we're not going to give you any metrics to measure off because then it looks like we're failing at our job. I think someone mentioned Greg Broughton. One of Greg Broughton's interviews, he said, "What is the goal of Blackburn Rovers? Is to make sure that every player is improving every day." Well, that's impossible to measure.
Mm.
But are you basing their improvement on fitness? Are you doing it technically? What are you basing it off?
Yeah.
But the reason they do that is so you can't say, "Well, you said this," and they're not doing that, so you're technically failing.
Yeah. If you said something like to get promoted to the Premier League in the next 5 years, it didn't last 5 years, obviously. But if you did, that was something measurable.
Yeah, you can't do that. Rudy Gestede did confirm that the club will be trying to strengthen its striking options. I mean, the word "trying" is terrifying because that should have been priority number 1. And in the first week of January, we should have had a new striking option ready for Eustace to use. Yassir Sufi mentioned the headline price at P&E was cheaper, but the average price for under 23s was double, in renewing season tickets and stuff. I mean, they use the term average because it helps them out quite a lot. The average price around the ground and whatnot, but the adults still need to take the under 23s or the juniors and stuff. So I know it's been great this year, kids for £1 for their season ticket, but if the adults can't afford it, the kids can never go. And he did mention the half season ticket prices. So Ours came in at 249, and I looked at all the clubs that offer a half season ticket or a similar sort of like I think Hull and someone else do like a membership, like similar options. So there was 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 other teams in the Championship that offer this. There was only 4 more expensive. Bristol City were 250, so they're £1 more expensive. I didn't really count them. I put them on they're the same as us. And there are 9 Championship clubs with a cheaper half season ticket than us. He did mention in the fans forum that the average price of half season tickets wasn't that far from what we offered. The average price being 234, but because of clubs like Borough at £323, Millwall at £300, obviously it shoots the average up. So the median price in the Championship was 227, which I think makes ours look pretty bad in comparison, especially when like your attendances or like the summer season ticket sales were so poor. You'd think we'd do a bit more, but then they handcuffed themselves with the summer season ticket prices. So how could they improve the half season ticket one?
It feels like the argument around season tickets and half season tickets and the pricing of them has been going on for a few years. Like, I mean, it's always there in the background, but I think since JDT took over, and they were quite expensive that year, weren't they?
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's kind of been rumbling on. And the thing is, the club will spin it one way to try and suit their argument that it is cheap, and everyone else, especially us, will try and argue the other way and say, well, you know, our early bird, for example, only lasts for like 4 weeks, so people only get one payday, and you know, and that's not really. I feel like that's things that aren't really taken into consideration by the club when they're questioned about it.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that you're on LinkedIn now. Are you a follower of Fraser Reid, former head of marketing at Blackburn Rovers?
I don't follow him on there. I've seen what he's come out with recently.
Yeah. So for anyone that hasn't seen this, Fraser Reid, who spent 2 years at Blackburn Rovers, head of marketing, head of commercial, I think was the position.
Yeah.
He wrote a post on LinkedIn saying, "Can reducing ticket prices increase match day revenue?" And then goes on to say, "Let's say your average ticket price is £20, which never was, apart from the midweek ones whilst he was here, and you sell 20,000 tickets, that's 400,000 revenue. Reducing the ticket price by 25%, increasing the sales volume by 25% would leave you £25,000 short of the original revenue." And it goes, "But if you take into account secondary spend per head, you would only need each new supporter to spend £5 to make up your deficit." I mean, what's that in the Blackburn end? Roll over hot dog?
A pint.
Yeah, a pint.
Nowadays,
yeah. Any of the things, probably a bag of Rebels is close. This doesn't even take into account additional goodwill. Now, for someone that didn't do anything like that at Blackburn Rovers, it feels very ironic that they would post such a message to LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it's a case of it's all right when you're not tied down to a job and when you've not got specific targets and you're not being told what to do basically. You're just kind of like saying it, and it's your opinion on a platform like that. Whereas like when you're in a position, all right, he has so much say, I guess, because he's got a title like that. You know, he works in the commercial department, but at the end of the day, he only has so much say. What he actually does depends on the people above him. That would definitely have been the case at Rovers, even if he wanted to do something like that he put on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But it is right on what you say. But it's something that almost gets forgotten about a bit when people say, "Oh, mate, tickets cheaper." People argue against cheap tickets, and say, oh, you won't make as much, but obviously, like he says, the secondary sales, the sales in the ground,
Now,
will make up for it.
will Rovers see that? Because obviously we've got Sodexo that run all the. Is that a reason why they won't do that? Because they don't see the benefit of the additional. Like, obviously, like we have the two massive crowds of Sunderland and Burnley. Would they have seen any increase in revenue? Because you can't like rep the shirt of a club store. It's not like you see any of that. Sodexo do all the, I mean, very poorly, all the catering, hospitality. So, like, do we see any additional revenue from big attendances apart from the tickets?
You'd hope so. If we don't, then that's got to be a concern, really, is it not?
Because I find it crazy that obviously went to the Burnley game and like walked up to the Brown Cow after. Absolutely rammed. I just think like you've got so many people that are staying out. Because obviously early finish, like early kick-off, early finish. Most people would have gone out for a pint in the afternoon afterwards, and you just let them leave. 20,000 people that could all like even if 25% of them, you still got 5,000 people buying another beer.
Early kick-off spells it a bit, didn't it?
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you were driving the night before.
Yeah.
So like quite late. I were up at like 6 o'clock, walking Marshall, dragging Marshall out of bed, like come on. But yeah, I think the atmosphere did feel a bit like that as well.
Yeah, I think it did feel a bit flat. Like people, we were quite late down to the ground, weren't we? Because we went Brown Cow and then went to Fox as well. But people I spoke to after the match were saying that on the way to Ewood, the atmosphere was really good. But obviously we were late down there. I think most people were already in the ground by the time that we got there.
Yeah.
So I think we missed all that. But yeah, the atmosphere once the game started was really flat. I thought it was all right. It weren't as good as I was expecting. That was that's what I'm trying to get at. And it weren't just. This isn't just a case for Ewood. I found that to be the case at Turf Moor when we went there as well. It doesn't feel as hostile as it was when we first got relegated from the Prem.
No, definitely not. I mean, there was some cracking comments on the day. I mean, Blackburn Burnley is almost like a spectacle in itself. So I expect people that aren't passionate Blackburn fans or Burnley fans to go. Well, obviously Burnley fans are restricted, it's probably not. But like, I expect people in the Blackburn end not to be like, maybe not have gone to like a Rovers game for 5 years or whatever, and quite new to it all. But I went down for a wee at half time, and someone said behind me like, "Oh, Blackburn have played well this first half." I'm like, Blackburn, like, does that mean we or us or Rovers? Like, I've never known anyone at Blackburn and refer to us as Blackburn. And I'm just like, yeah, it kind of makes sense now. Because there will be a lot of people like, their mates are going. And like, yeah, I'll have a ticket as well and come with you. But, I mean, are you going to be as passionate in front of your mate that's like a Liverpool fan and just tag off the ride than you would if you were surrounded by like.
It wouldn't bother me, but I know what you're saying. Some people might be like that. I mean, a lot of people were surprised that it did sell out. Because we've had derbies before where it's not quite been full. It's been a bigger gate, obviously, but it's not been full. I think the time of year helped in that though.
Oh yeah, people say like the Portsmouth game, like saying, "Oh, where has everyone gone?" Well, like most people don't live in Blackburn anymore. Not a prosperous town anymore. So like most people do work away all year round.
Right after New Year, basically still Christmas really. If you count the 12 days and all.
You've got 2 days off.
So yeah, that definitely helps in that. And maybe like that's something to do like going forward, like the old firm. Like imagine like Rovers Burnley every New Year.
January every year.
So yeah, that definitely helped in that. I was. We were expecting it to sell out. But when they announced the ticket prices, I was thinking maybe full apart from the upper tier at Blackburn or something like that.
But I think like when it is starting to sell out, people are more
likely to get on board.
And as soon as it's like, oh, it's 22,000, you're like, oh, I don't want to miss this. But when you're struggling to sell, it's like people think, well, I don't want to go, it's only 13,000. Obviously, never going to be that for the Blackburn Burnley, but people don't want to go and like sit in a massive area by themselves for like what's the. I think when it gets up to 25, 26, people are like, oh, the atmosphere is going to be incredible. And it's almost that attracts them rather than the actual footy, because we were absolutely dreadful. Most part of the day, as always.
We let it pass us by a bit, didn't we? I thought.
Yeah. I think that's how they set up.
Yeah.
That's talking about philosophies before. That's probably Scott Parker's philosophy to almost calm the game down and dictate it. But yeah, it wasn't the.
They scored at a terrible time as well.
Yeah,
it's around the hour mark. It's always bad as that, isn't it? Yeah. I think in a game like that.
Well, the game just fell flat. And it was just very bitty after that. The ball kept going out. Yeah, just obviously winding the clock down, which I can't complain about. Because if Rovers didn't wind the clock down, if we were 1-0 up in a derby, I'd be fuming.
There was one moment that stuck out in my mind in the second half where Gay was running towards goal in counter. I was like, and to be fair, he wasn't fit that day. Right? You could tell he was struggling through it, and he plays a shocking ball to Gay, and it's nowhere near him, and it's just easily cleared, and everyone just everyone just is just absolutely fuming at him. That was
summed it up.
It just summed it performance,
weren't it?
Yeah.
The one moment, it's a good cross to back post, it's a bullet header, that's the quality they've paid for, where we had a few moments where in better players in better positions would have took the chances, and yeah, it's one of them. They've got the budget and the team to compete, and we're just not in that position at the minute. One thing to end on the fans forum, but I mean, there's quite a few that I picked up.
We've got to distract with fans forum. It's something about Burnley all.
So I don't know who this is. KH asked about fans being charged when forgetting their season ticket.
Right. Okay.
So his point was how much did it cost the club to for people to go to the ticket office and say, "I've forgot it, can you print one off?" And Yassi Asufi replied saying, "Yeah, it's quite a substantial amount. We're quite busy doing that on a match day." Now
they're busy doing that on a match day. Is that many people that forget them?
Yeah. I mean, it does happen. People forget.
It does, but I mean, how many would you expect? Out of we've got 8,000 season tickets.
Probably 200.
That's a lot, mate.
It is a lot, but I would never want people to be charged for forgetting it. I'm not that was very. I'm going to rape Harlan in Brazilian, very Nazi Germany. You forgot, really forgot. But if there was another alternative, if you could log onto your Rovers account and say, "I forgot my ticket," and he sent you a digital pass through, people would do people wouldn't do that straight away as soon as they forgot. I know for us, setting off 5 minutes up the road, sometimes I forget it's easy to just think, can't be bothered going back for it. And we're only 5 minutes up the road. So imagine you were setting off from Preston or even further afield, an hour's drive. You're not going to be halfway there and go, "Oh shit, my season ticket, I'll turn back around for it." But if there was an option to sign in and say, "I forgot it," print digital ticket straight in your Apple Wallet, and happy days. And it's all done automatically. There'll be no human cost. That's the sort of stuff they should be looking at. That's the sort of stuff they should be asked about. Not, can we charge people for it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really want to get into this.
I think years ago, I mean, it might have changed now, but years ago it was £2 or something.
If you forgot?
Yeah, it was something weird like that. I mean, I think we had £2 or £5, a small fee.
I was thinking about what went up to the front and they said it's £5 because you forgot it. I just go watch it Fox now. I'd just be like, why? Paid for your season ticket. I've made a mistake. Why am I paying £5 for it? But again, there should be alternatives to make it easier for people that have forgot, rather than queuing up at the ticket office and getting someone to print a new one off for you. I was going to get into the rant then about the standards at the club now being lower. It's been a while since our last podcast. We've had a few stinkers. Some of the half-season tickets advertisement, I think one of them was be closer to the action in the Riverside. Be part of the atmosphere in the Jack Walker. I was like, they're actively mocking us here. The Riverside stand being the first one away, being close to the action. And I mean, the one for the signings the other day, we got an email through about the squad numbers for Sanderson and Forshaw, and it had the SBL name sets on it. And I was working in Edinburgh, and I just thought, is it a location thing? Like, is it judging my location and changing the name set based on where I am? Which, well, I mean, they wouldn't have been able to do. But I just think, like, how has that happened? And obviously they've asked for marketing managers, and they've got a new head of media and marketing and whatnot. Like,
I'll tell you what we haven't talked about yet.
well,
I mean, this is like a small thing, but this is like what me and Dad saw yesterday.
Yeah.
The team news on the Rovers website. That's bad. I mean, the SPL name is outside.
I think it's harder to get the SPL name sets than it is to get the championship ones at a championship club.
Yeah, probably, but at the same time, that's like one. I mean, not people really care, but the team news on the Rovers website being wrong. That's
yeah.
bad, isn't it?
I mean, it's
not great.
Dolan and Hedges started, and Dolan and Hedges on the bench yesterday. I don't know if people, but like,
I know, not many people probably look at the website now for the team. No. Everyone looks at social, but still, it's
most people will look at Twitter, won't they?
Yeah.
I feel like if you're of like that generation that likes to read the team news on the website, or like might like sit with the Rovers website loaded, looking for that information, like, and I say it might be petty, it might just mean just like focusing on little things, but I think it is like standards at the club, and
it's
if you get the little things wrong like that, the big things will add up and go wrong.
Yeah, it's just a bit amateur, isn't it?
Like, we've talked about Lewis O'Brien, like, he's been linked with us, and I just think they'll probably just photocopy the contract agreement from 2 years ago and forget to press it.
Not even change the date. Then get rejected because they didn't change the date.
This was 2 years ago. Why are you sending this? So yeah, that's everything in the fans forum and all the other different paths that went off during that whole part. Join us in part 3 where we're going to discuss January and what we want to see happen. Obviously, the last third of January in part 3. Okay, welcome back to the final part of the Kinner Street Noise Show on the 4,000 Holes podcast. And now we're going to talk all about January. Now, obviously, 2/3 of it have passed by already. Happy with the business so far?
It's been all right. During it's been
at the end of January. We've made future signings. They're all right.
Yeah. If we've brought, I've already said we need 3 or 4 quality players. That hasn't changed. I don't think because I don't think anyone we've signed so far qualifies as that. Nothing against them, but I don't really feel like the improvers. And you've got to put it into context now as well, because Tronside got injured yesterday, so that's a big blow. Travis is still out. We're still thin-ish in defence. You think if like Hyam or Bath get injured, obviously we've got Sanderson now, but I don't really feel that much more assured in the places where we didn't feel that before January. You know what I mean? And you'll probably feel the same.
How have you felt about the rumours and the links? I know you can't really judge the club on rumours and links because it might just be absolute tosh. But how have you felt about the rumours so far?
There's no one I've seen as linked with that's got me really excited.
Yeah.
Apart from O'Brien today, really, because I do think if, for God knows, whatever reason he does want to come,
yeah.
I think that'd be a really good signing.
Yeah.
He is a really good player, and he is in. He can play in a position where we are thin now. We're short, we're struggling. I think who else? I mean, there's a lot of talk about Bamford, weren't there? Big wages, misses a hell of a lot of chances, and
worst striker in Europe.
When you can.
Genuinely, statistically, factually, the worst striker in Europe.
When you can create as many chances as Leeds do,
you can afford
to miss a few. Sometimes you're missing more than a few, but it's the type of chances that he misses as well.
Yeah,
we don't create many chances, do we? Not many clear-cut chances.
Yeah.
I think yesterday. Buckley had a couple of pots from distance. Apart from that, I mean,
there was one yesterday.
Vyman post saved just after the first Buckley chance, I think it was.
Yeah.
We don't create much.
We don't create much, but I mean, I don't really rate Cozy Dewey. I don't think it's had much of an impact. But there was one yesterday where Owen Beck went down the left, and like Gaze made a darting run towards the front post, and Beck's like pulled it back to almost like the penny spot area, and it just rolled like the defensive ball on with Gabe. There's a massive gap, and it's a great cross. And like I think the commentator said like, "Oh, there's no one there." Like, well, there should be someone there. At fullback, if you've hit that area at a good pace, you've almost like played the perfect pass for someone to walk onto it and hit a shot on target. Bamford, yeah, he's probably got the intelligence to be in that area, but again, like where the ball ends up is anyone's guess. Probably statistically, it's not going to be in the back of the net. But yeah, I don't know whether we're not creating chances. People aren't in the right areas, or we're not creating chances because the balls aren't good enough. A couple of crosses late yesterday that I thought were decent crosses, and I think Joe Costello gets a head on one back post. It falls to Britton. I think it deflects, so it goes over, or like rises and goes over. But it's not Britton that you want it to fall to in that area.
No.
So yeah, I'm not really. I mean, it's weird. What annoys me is like our fullbacks are probably our best position at the minute, apart from the two defensive mids who've been class all season. Obviously now injured, which is great. Yeah. So like your fullbacks are probably your best outlet, Beck and Britton. Our wingers are probably our, like at the minute, probably our weakest position.
Yeah, I'd say so. Definitely.
We don't really know who's playing. Like usually, like you can say, right, them he's on the left. Like you look at the two lads for Oxford, Plachetta and who's on the other side, Dembele. They probably like all their fans would think, oh yeah, Dembele and Plachetta left and right. We go left and right wing. Whoever's fit, more or less.
Whoever had like maybe like a good half basket. You know, that's how it feels. It's like
we go for the last 10.
You get off bench and like a couple of nice passes. You know, and like it's just all a bit. It's all a bit makeshift and a bit
wishy-washy.
Yeah, a bit hopeful. You know, it's all a bit. Not what you can hang your hat on.
Like if you'd have picked Dole and Hedges on the wing yesterday, you wouldn't have gone, oh yeah, that's the wing I want. That's the partnership I want to see today.
No, I'd say, these two again.
And there were two of them yesterday.
Might sound a bit harsh, but I feel like Hedges goes under the radar for most people because I don't really think he's had a good game this season. He never really has a run where you think, yeah, Hedges have been good recently. You know, he doesn't really contribute. He's decent defensively. I understand that argument when people try and support him.
Try and stick up for the last.
Yeah, try and stick up, but
you just want more.
Yeah. Creatively, definitely.
I think the way the squad's shaping up, like crying out for 5-3-2.
Yeah.
If you have your two wing backs, High and Bath, Sanderson now, Carter when he comes back in. Obviously, Pickering will play on the left side of that when he's back fit. 3 in the middle will be Travis when they're fit. Buckley going there, Cantwell going there. There's like a more advanced one of the 3. 2 up front will be Gay and someone. So someone's close to him. Or potentially 2 new strikers. probably Gay and Leonard, let's be honest. But yeah, and that would make the most logical sense because like you've got someone around Gay to play off his knockdowns, but then like you obviously fullbacks can get higher up the pitch, and you don't really have to play wingers because technically they play on the wing. So we're almost like shoving people there because they can play that position rather than they're going to benefit the team.
I mean, I know we spoke about the Bamford links there. We've not really. Why are we off?
Patrick Bamford. You had a laugh or cry.
No, we've not really spoke about the position of striker yet and how much of a priority that has got to be and what's left of the window.
I mean, so I've got a point here, potential targets. Now these were written a few weeks ago, so I think some of them are injured now. Evan Ferguson was offered on loan by Brighton. No, he's not had a great couple of years for that first season. He had at Brighton when he came on the scene. I think he showed enough that he could definitely do it in the Championship. Louis Barry, I don't think he's on loan yet. Has he been?
I think he's been recalled to Villa.
I know he's been recalled.
Yeah. All right. It's not on loan again. Yeah. No, I'm not.
A serious club gets him tomorrow. Tomorrow now.
Yeah. If he's playing that well in League One, then there's a reason. Villa kind of like put the bait out there, aren't they?
Yeah.
But by recalling, they want him playing at a higher level and seeing what he can do in the Championship. And
go get him.
Yeah.
And he won't be on that higher wages, I don't think. He's going to be like.
No, I can't imagine so. Yeah, I mean, look at his numbers for Stockport so far this season.
Yeah.
I mean, if that doesn't get you going,
goals don't move. Don't move.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, I had Lennon Miller on the list from Motherwell, who was offered to Rangers for £4 million. Now, I'd never expect Rose to go buy someone for £4 million, but they've obviously loaned players from us previously. I think if you offer Jack Vale and £2.5, £3 million, I think they accept it. But again, can I see us offering even £2.5 million to someone? Probably not. I think he has got like a hairline fracture in his ankle since I wrote him down, which means he'll be out to not be able to pass a medical. So I don't think he'll move in this January. But I don't think a player that could play off the right, play in the middle, play in the 10, and play actual centre mid and affect the game is exactly what we need. And he's a signing for the future. And he's playing SBL football and playing it quite well. I think it'd be a great signing, but again, can't see us doing it. Other potential links we've had, I mean, that Cornet at Wickham would be high up on the list. Can't see Wickham demanding much money for him. Been linked with Jade and Dan's on loan. Who else did I text you about the other day? Oh, Asgard from Wigan. Wigan are desperate to offload him. Apparently $2.5 million is his release clause. Just go get him. If there's no issues with funding.
Yeah, I mean, it's no, he's young lad. I mean, I think he scored 8 in 24 now, which I mean for a wide player, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
1 in 3 return for a winger, that's better than any of our wingers put by some distance. That's exactly what you're looking for. Wigan fans seem to rate him highly. That's the kind of player. Those players in League One that are performing well.
Yeah.
If you're not looking at the Premier League and young players at the top clubs, that's what you've got to be looking at.
Yeah. Now, there was the last one that I mentioned was, I don't know what it's called, Will. I just know his last name is Lancashire from Spurs. Won the Player of the Year in Premier League 2 last year. 6'4" striker, strong, powerful, quick, scores goals. Last name is Lancashire. What more can you ask for?
Awesome. Get Lancashire back at shirts.
But that's your typical loan signing. Spurs young striker, get him on loan. But I mean, Spurs are struggling with injuries at the minute. He was on the bench again today, so I don't know whether it'd be available for loan. I mean, they're only 1 injury away from Ange playing left wing, so I don't know how available any of their players would be for a loan signing.
I think Barry's the one for me. I'm not just like lad kick a ball, but you know what I mean. Like you just got a feeling about it. You look at his goal tally, and you're just like just everything about him.
Well, I'm hoping like Real Madrid are looking at Gay's assist tally. This guy's name is Guti.
Not just to kick a ball.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Like the goals and assists are there, and they're the stats that get you excited. And like if you do sign him, the people are going to be like, we're actually making a move to improve ourselves and getting excited. Where the signings so far haven't really sparked that excitement around the club. Last thing that I want in January, not the last thing, I want loads of things, but I want season tickets released for next year.
That's a big ask, isn't it? That's
or announced, not released.
The most unrealistic thing of We're only spending $4 million more.
Lennon Miller, Son from Spurs on a free agent, Harry Kane from Brighton, he's alright.
He'll do a job. Right.
I mean, if we ask for a season ticket to be released, they might go out and spend 20 million. We're not giving you that. We're not giving you that, so we'll go and spend. I want season tickets released. Get your playoff semi-final ticket. Get your playoff semi-final ticket included or reduced if you sign up early to next season ticket or renew early.
Included is wild, isn't it? Because you just know if we get in playoffs, it's going to be 40 quid. It's going to be 40 quid for adults. 30 for kids.
It'd be like it'd be United one. It's 60 quid for adults, 60 quid for kids.
No concessions.
No concessions. Get them in. Get seasons released. Whilst that was one thing that I was really annoyed about in JDT's first season is that the morale was there around January time. I think we were second after coming back from the World Cup.
Yeah.
That was the time. Get people to buy in for next year. Obviously, they waited till after the season, given 4 weeks to get an early bird ticket. That's what I want to see in January. Even if it's not the end of this month, I'd like to see us in Feb announce like an early bird special with. It's hard that because if the club do that and say get your playoff season ticket and we drop out, it's embarrassing, isn't it? But
it is, but it's an incentive, isn't it? That's what it is. There's no
get your playoff ticket included, but didn't say when.
Yeah. But we'll hold you to that in 2031. What if is an idea to end our spot? What if we finish 6th and Burnley finish 3rd? It's 2 legs against Burnley.
I just don't. I mean, someone before the FA Cup draw, someone said, "Oh, Burnley is." I think they got a late win. Did they win in extra time?
In the FA, against Reading, yeah, 3-1
extra time. So someone tweeted something like, "Oh, Burnley is still in. Would love to get them in the draw."
Right now, I couldn't think about it worse.
Yeah, no. I'd hate playing Burnley. I obviously love the day and love everyone's out for it and everyone's buzzing beforehand. But the actual 90 minutes is the worst you'll feel all season. Yeah. So imagine that in the playoffs. I'd be like, everyone's like, "Oh, Burnley Blackburn in the playoff final."
I'd be sick at the stands.
I could not think of anything worse. I'd rather play Guardiola's Barcelona team than play Burnley.
That's outrageous, but
like, it's just the feeling of every time they kick the ball, like it towards your net, and having to think, "Oh my god, they score now," is the worst feeling. So why would you want 180 minutes of that in the playoffs or 90 minutes of it at Wembley?
The worst would be if it does happen, say if we're beating 1-0 at Ewood and they have to go there.
Oh.
I don't know what it'd be like. You won't be able to...
Sanderson, Hyam, Bath, Carter, Pickering.
the
few up top, 60 yards away.
Just knock it. The few days in between the matches, you won't be able to do anything. You'd be paralysed, wouldn't you?
It's not even worth thinking about. But again, any playoff fixture is going to feel horrible. But I don't know why anyone would want to play that. I don't want to say I'd rather they get promoted than have to play them in the playoffs. I don't want them to get promoted, and they're never going to drop out to 7.
Yeah, I've said for a while now that we're due against them. It just never seems. It's just not happening, is it? Even low averages, eventually we'll beat it. Surely.
I think the last round table show discussed there will be a new generation out of Ewood that will never seen us beat Burnley.
I've not seen us beat Burnley. Not live.
You not go to the Premier League one?
No.
Not your first season, no. Not when you started going to games, but the season after that.
No, I didn't go to either of the Premier League games, so no, I've not. I think the one just gone was my 9th derby, and not beat, but as bad as that, innit? And there's been something. There's been one thing in particular that you'd have never have expected. Them winning the league, that was. I mean, if someone would have told you that would have happened, when we were in the Premier League,
we discussed
it'd knock you sick, wouldn't it?
We had the Paddy Power advert for Everton fans selling the soul. And they were at the end of it, it was Blackburn Rovers fan wants to win the league next year.
Yeah.
They get 2 words,
Benki Shiki. Yeah.
But if someone has said you can win the league next year, but you'll have
the next 30. Well, say the next 30. We did win the League Cup as well, but
a couple of seasons in Europe, League Cup, but you'll have 14 years.
Absolute chaos.
Like a board that just aren't really interested in being here, owners that aren't really interested in being here.
Back-to-back Januaries where you sign players but actually don't.
Yeah. You'll reveal a player he won't have actually signed for you, maybe on the pitch for the shirt, and he won't sign for you. Like Burnley have won numerous seasons in the Prem, qualify for Europe. They'll beat you every time they play.
You'll get to more FA Cup quarterfinals than anyone else and not win.
Yeah, you'll get a replay against Millwall in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, bring them back to Ewood. They'll beat you 1-0 with Ocean too. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's just been Blackburn Rovers banter years, hasn't it?
The banter period has been mad, hasn't it?
The longest ever banter period.
Yeah, it's been rough.
Yeah. But yeah, let's end on a positive. 5th in the league.
Hopefully it's coming to an end. So.
Yeah. 5th in the league now, and 4 points clear of 7th. Oh my God, City won 7-0.
It's 7. Jeez, that's bad for it.
Yeah, standings. Yeah, we are 5th on 42. Oh my God, 7th on 41.
Yeah, it's close up, isn't
it?
It felt like if we'd have won yesterday, we could have opened up a bit of a gap after beating Portsmouth. But
I mean, like our fixtures, QPR are flying at the end of this month. QPR are flying, so we play them first game in Feb. Worried about that. Coventry. Do we ever beat Coventry midweek? Do we ever beat Coventry?
Yeah. Stand by for another handball.
Bristol City away. I think the last time I beat him at Ashton Gate was
2-0. Bradley Johnson scored.
Yeah, Johnson and Armstrong.
Was that last time I beat them there? I think.
Yeah. Well, we've had some awful results.
Bad record against Bristol City, haven't we? I think.
Last season was awful.
Oh, the 5-0,
that's where the worst we've seen them. Yeah. Probably in the Championship.
Yeah, that's like the soldier meme, like PTSD.
Vietnam. Preston at home. Is that the Friday night game?
Yeah, Friday night. Yeah. I feel like I've not been to a Friday night game in ages because I missed Derby because I was working.
Yeah.
And I missed Preston last season, which was Friday night as well. I can't remember the last one before that.
Not really good thing.
Or if you've had any others.
The Friday night games are flat because everyone's like finished work and just want to chill out.
For Preston, it might be alright though.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll beat them. It's been.
Yeah, we do again.
Low averages suggest we should beat Preston at home. And low average suggests it's our time to beat Coventry.
Would you want to
Bristol City?
Analysis of any derby. Would you?
We are due a win. Not going to look at any stats.
No, would you?
So yeah, it's going to be a tough month, but if anyone can do it.
We're not even talking about the FA Cup. Wolves?
No. Again, it's not that exciting.
We might have another episode before then.
Yeah, I think maybe. Because things quite.
Hopefully it's not another 2 months. God knows where we'll be then. But probably 15.
Yeah, this is the episode before the playoffs. FA Cup, good to get through. Winnable game, I'd say.
Yeah.
Not really exciting.
No, not really one that's like, geez, it's a massive game, but
ticket prices are massive, I think, in terms of getting the crowd in.
I think because they got the big payday for Burnley, you'd hope, and hopefully Preston will be a big-ish gate as well. I mean, it won't be like anything near Burnley, I don't think, but hopefully it'll, still be around 20,000,
I think they agreed with Blackpool the other year when they played them in the 3rd round that with like £10 a ticket. Can I see Rovers agreeing to that?
Yeah.
Why not? January.
No, because we got paid for Burnley, hopefully, like I say, we do something affordable.
Yeah. Good news on the flexi ticket as well, which obviously is something we've
got to give credit
celebrated and obviously begged for more or less on the podcast. Over the last couple of years.
Hopefully it's in from the start next year. I think it will be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wouldn't make any sense. Which means it would make perfect sense for all of them. It wouldn't make any sense to bring it into this kind of last last bit of the season, and now the next season. So but yeah, it's fantastic offering.
One criticism, obviously, it's going to be a criticism. You can't get a ticket on a match day. You can't apply for the ticket on a match day.
Yeah,
which I think is quite poor. Obviously, played Dinghy on Wednesday. I was in Edinburgh working, got the train back, got back to Blackburn at 7:45. If I was still fancied making it straight from the train station, I would like the option to say, yeah, I'm going. Can I have my ticket? Whereas, like, if my train was delayed for any reason, I got back at like 8 o'clock, 8:30, like, well, I don't want to go now.
Yeah.
Like, I think people should be given the option to all the way up to kick off to say, yeah, I want to come. Or just pick like from an available seat. Yeah, small criticism. Obviously, I'm guessing they'll get feedback on the flex ticket and make changes for next year and hopefully implement it from the season start. But yeah, good work on that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, first episode back for a while. I don't know how long it's been.
A decent waffle, that. Yeah. I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah. Hopefully it won't be too long till we're back next time, but let's hope we keep winning, but like stay in that top 6 and the next one will be just as positive.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
See you later.
See you in a bit.